All right, I guess we're going to get going.
Are we doing it?
Yeah, we're going to do it. Call the April 13th, 2022 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order. Would you please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Chairperson Jacks,
Here.
Commissioner Barlow, here. Commissioner Kelly, Commissioner Hassett,
Here.
Commissioner Meal,
Here.
Commissioner Martin, here. Commissioner Abbott,
Here.
Commissioner Alexander, here. Commissioner Morse, Vice Chair Gillette. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Automated announcement message, please.
Anyone who has not signed in, please do so at the table located in the lobby. Should anyone wish to speak, please complete a request to speak form, which is also located on the lobby table next to the sign-in sheet. A request to speak form must be completed for each item you would like to speak on. Please note, there are stairs on the right, left, and center aisles, and we ask that you use caution when using the stairs. There is also a ramp located to the audience's left. If anyone has written comments, exhibits, petitions, photos, or letters they intend to present at today's meeting, have 17 copies and give them to a staff member at the back of the auditorium. Staff member, please hold up your hand for the audience. If you do not have 17 copies, you may use the overhead camera to present your documents. Please place your documents on the podium and line it up with the arrows indicated. If you want your documentation to go on record, you must hand them to the clerk after your presentation with the agenda item number clearly marked on the documentation. Members of the public cannot speak to staff members that are seated at the tables with microphones during the meeting. If you have questions, please see the staff member located in the back of the auditorium. All speakers will be limited to 2 minutes to make their presentation statements. Everyone, please turn off all cell phones or place them on vibrate during the meeting. If you must take a call, please leave the meeting area and go outside to have your conversation. We also ask the audience to refrain from talking with one another during the presentations and discussions. Today, the Planning and Zoning Commission will hear public testimony and then forward a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. Everyone attending the meeting is asked to remember that the administrative building and campus are tobacco-free areas, which means no smoking is allowed from curb to curb. No food or drinks are allowed in the auditorium except for bottled water. If there are any items remaining on the agenda, the Commission will break for lunch for 1 hour per the Chairman's discretion.
The items with a recommendation made by the commission will be heard by the Board of Supervisors on Monday, May 2nd, 2022 at 9:30 a.m. in the same location, with the exception of any continued items. Moving on to item 5, approval of the March 9th, 2022 minutes. Chair will now call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Abbott, and I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 1, staff reported by Matthew Gunderson.
Item number 1 is an evaluation of a request for a special use permit for Assessors Parcel number 402-84018 to allow for an RV park in a C2 general commercial zone in the scenic vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Open the public hearing. Is the applicant present? Okay, I do not see an applicant present. Are there any others wishing to speak on item 1? Item 1. Hearing or seeing none, close the public hearing. Does any commissioner have a question or comment at this time on item 1? No. Chair will now call for a motion on item 1.
Motion, we approve item 1.
Second.
Got a motion by,
Commissioner Barlow.
Yeah, get my act together here. Commissioner Barlow, second by Commissioner Hassett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 2, staff reported by Matthew Gunderson.
All right, for item number 2, I just wanted to give a brief explanation first. It's formatted a little differently than how we've done it in the past. So previously, when we've had plan amendments and rezones, we've done them as separate items, like a 2A and 2B. But from now moving forward, we're going to put them all as one item. This one item will be for an amendment to the general plan, an area plan, and for a rezone. So just so the commission is aware, you can vote on these by a single motion, or if you had issues with one or more than one of them, you could do it by separate motions as well. That option is up to you guys as the commission. But we will read them in as one item. So item number 2 is an evaluation of a request for an amendment to the Mojave County General Plan from a general commercial land use designation to a suburban development area land use designation, an amendment to the Virgin River Communities Area Plan from a commercial land use designation to a suburban residential land use designation, and a rezone from an RE10A residential recreation 10-acre minimum lot size zone to an RE1A residential recreation 1-acre minimum lot size zone, and an RE2A residential recreation 2-acre minimum lot size zone for Assessors Parcel number 402-15035 to allow for a minor land division in the scenic vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. Opening a public hearing. Is the applicant present? Not seeing applicant present. Are there any others wishing to speak on item 2? Hearing or seeing none, close the public hearing. Does any commissioner have questions or comments at this time? Item 2.
I have a question.
Commissioner Meal.
With all these lot splits, we have been through this before, and I just want to re-verify access to each split, the public access, the driveway or road.
Chairman Jacks, Commissioner Meal, yes, that is correct. That will be one of the conditions of approval, that they provide that legal access, as well as a parcel plat needs to be done to split the properties, and we will check for that legal access at that point.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right.
Chair will now call for a motion on item 2.
I make a motion for approval of item 2 per standard conditions.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Gillette, a second by Commissioner Hassett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 3, staff report by Alexandra Bolin.
Item 3 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of Assessors Parcel number 229-13016A from an AR Agricultural Residential Zone to a CMO Commercial Manufacturing Open Lot Storage Zone to allow for an open lot storage facility in the Fort Mojave vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Okay, thank you. Opening the public hearing, is the applicant present?
Yeah.
You give us your name and address, sir?
Yes, Mr. Chairman and the members of the commission and staff, and Lynn Robison, 1355 Raymar Road in Bullhead City, Suite 7. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. We have reviewed the staff's comments and recommendations and will comply with those provisions. Thank you, sir.
Okay, any questions for the applicant? All right, thank you, sir. Are there any others wishing to speak on item 3? Okay, hearing or seeing none, close the public hearing. Does any commissioner have any questions or comments at this time?
I have a comment.
Commissioner Meal?
I have a problem with a open storage lot in this part of Fort Mojave, because you've got several the single family homes in this area. Why put a storage lot in the middle of the single family homes?
Okay, any other comments by any other commissioners? Thank you, Commissioner Meal. Chair will now call for a motion on item 3.
I make a motion to approve item 3 with staff conditions.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hassett, looking for a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gillette. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Moving on to item 4, staff reported by Alexandra Bolin.
Item 4 is an evaluation of a request for an amendment to the Mojave County General Plan and an amendment to the Golden Valley Area Plan from a Rural Development Area Land Use Designation to a Suburban Development Area Land Use Designation, and a rezone from an AR 10A Agricultural Residential 10-acre minimum lot size zone to an AR 3A Agricultural Residential 3-acre minimum lot size zone for Assessors Parcel number 306-24211E to allow for a minor land division in the Golden Valley vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. Opening the public hearing, is the applicant present? Do you wish to speak on the item, sir? Okay, thank you. I do have one person that has filled out a slip to speak, be David White. Is David White here? Item 4. That was me. Oh, that was you. Okay, Dave. All right, thank you. Are there any others wishing to speak on item 4? All right. Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Does any commissioner have any questions or comments at this time? Okay, none. Chair will now call for a motion on item 4. I'll make a motion, we approve item 4. A motion by Commissioner Barlow.
With staff.
With staff recommendation. Looking for a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gillette. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 5, staff reported by Matthew Gunderson.
Item number 5 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessors parcel numbers 339-47033 through 037 from an AR6A agricultural residential 6-acre minimum lot size zone to a CRE6A commercial recreation 6-acre minimum lot size zone to allow for a campground in the Golden Valley vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. Open the public hearing. Is the applicant present? Do you wish to speak on the item?
Just to answer any questions from neighbors.
Okay, thank you. Are there any others wishing to speak on item 5? Yes, please come on down.
How you doing, Commissioner? My name is Jack Mafara. I live right across the street from the proposed site for the campgrounds. When we originally purchased in Legend Ranch, it's in the CC&Rs that this type of zoning is not permitted. Having campers on the properties are not permitted. We have enough trouble in our area maintaining the roads from storms because it only gets maintained only so often. We have no policing out there, basically. We very seldom see a sheriff out there, and when they do get out there, it's usually 30 minutes. We're a water hall. I mean, there's no running water out there. I don't find how this could actually benefit the community. One of the things that really concerns me is we already have trouble with ATVers coming and cutting lines where the free-range cattle are. We had a bad accident on Laguna this year from a free-range cattle that was there and wasn't supposed to be. We've also had one on 68. They come with their ATVs and they literally destroy our desert. We moved there knowing that we were protected from this. And I have a copy of the CC&Rs that prohibits this. And, you know, I'm not going to be the only one that's opposed to this. I don't even, as a matter of fact, I don't even know what the proposal is for waste. I mean, we have people that dump out there already. So, those are my concerns, and I'm definitely opposed to it.
All right, thank you, sir. Any questions for?
I have a question.
Yes.
How many people live out there?
There's 3 of us that live out there immediately close to this lot. But you know, I mean, I've been living there since '05. The people that bought the property right next door to that are really concerned. They just bought their house knowing that signing with these CC&Rs that this kind of event will not happen.
When you say, I'm sorry, were you done?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I am.
When you say CC&Rs, is this in a, like, and that's something that's normally in a, oh my gosh, thank you, with an HOA.
Yes, and they're here. He'll speak. I don't want to speak for him unless he wants me to, but he's here also. So the HOA is here.
So the subject property is within an HOA,
That is correct.
which does not allow for a campground?
That is correct.
The property owner's aware of that?
I'm not sure.
I mean-
But I have the
Assuming that when
CC&Rs.
you, I mean, generally when you purchase property in an area like that, you're, even in title, you're acknowledging the HOA and aware of the CC&Rs.
The CC&Rs are recorded with the county.
Right.
And supposedly, every neighbor I've talked to are very familiar. Matter of fact, they contacted the HOA. Why the property owner would not know, I can't answer you. Everybody else does.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understood when you kept saying
Yeah.
CC&Rs. so
And if
thank
you want me to, sanitary facilities, it has to have flushing, toilet, running, you know, system, septic systems. Mobile homes are not allowed on the properties for more than 3 months. Travel trailers, recreational vehicles, the same. If you do put a mobile home on that's a permanent fixture, it has to be 5 years or younger. I mean, we got some, this is one of the main reasons why we bought there, because we love the area. We deal with the water hall. We deal with the fact that we don't have a lot of amenities. I mean, just the traffic alone of them having to go to a convenience store, I mean, we're not close to anything. But we moved there because we didn't want that type of, you know, we didn't want campgrounds. Matter of fact, I even brought you a picture of a lot on Estrella with 3 campers.
So we have a question for you, Commissioner Martin.
What kind of road maintenance?
The road is a dirt road. You come in Laguna, it turns into dirt, and then the road itself is dirt, and it gets maintained only twice a year. And when we get hit with rains, the wash goes right across that. It's pretty rough getting in and out of there.
Who's responsible for your road maintenance?
The HOA. And they do, I'm fine with the job the HOA does. I'm concerned if we bring in something that's against the HOA, it's just going to make things worse. The road is not, it's just all dirt road. And, you know.
I have a question.
A question by Commissioner Gillette.
Yes.
So where is this HOA?
He's
Don't
here.
they have a board?
Yeah, they have a board. They're here, and they're based in Bullhead City.
We asked the HOA to come down.
Buck Reynolds.
I would like to speak to them.
Yeah, they're here.
We have an HOA member that would wish to come down and speak.
Sir, give your name and your...
Thank you. I'm Ken Cordes, last name spelled K-O-R-D-E-S. I am actually the standing president for the HOA right at the present time, and I'll be glad to answer any questions I can.
Well, my question is, don't you have any teeth? I mean, that's the wrong thing to ask. But doesn't your HOA have repercussions for this kind of thing?
Oh, yeah, actually we can. Ask the property owner not to do this. We can.
Because I'm now joining the meeting.
Yeah, I don't know, legally, we have lawyers, we can, legally take action. The property management company has a lawyer on staff for us. I mean, we can take legal actions, we just as soon not, because it costs its money out of the HOA's pocket. I mean, we'd like to just say, hey, the CCNRs say that this is, not a legal thing to do. I mean, we do not, we don't say you can't rezone the property, but using it as a campsite, as a permanent campsite, is against the CCNRs.
Thank you.
And they are in the book, if you would like to look it up, they're in book 4,222 on page 821.
Thank you, Commissioner Hassett.
It's actually for staff. So just a quick question. We're here to rezone, right? So the county, we don't have any say in CCNRs. We don't operate, we don't control subdivisions, homeowners associations, stuff like that. But when someone purchases in an area with a homeowners association, they're aware of the CCNRs and they abide by that, otherwise suffer the penalties and said consequences, which is a civil matter, I'm assuming, right? So the only reason we're here today is to rezone, which you approve based on rezoning. Just because we're approving the rezoning doesn't mean he's actually going to get the RV park or whatever it's going to be. That would be something that would happen civilly through the HOA.
And Chairman Jacks, Commissioner Hassett, generally speaking, that's true. The analysis from the county's perspective is whether this is legal based on the ordinances and statutes that are applicable. Based on the review by staff, it is legal. However, there may be other competing interests that may make it to where an applicant can't do what they propose to do. In this case, the allegation is that the CCNRs and or the HOA, and frankly, I haven't looked at either one. I don't know what's contained within either one of them, or if any of these parcels are within either the CCNRs or the HOA, because it's not part of the staff analysis. But if the commission approves the item, then the recourse from someone challenging it would be to take a civil action to either try and enforce the CCNRs, which may or may not be enforceable, or to use the HOA statutes to take action civilly to enforce the HOA provisions. But again, those are really deep questions that staff doesn't get into because it's not something that has to do with whether it's legal under the statutes for rezoning or the county ordinances. But as the commission, that's something that the commissioners can take into consideration in whether to go ahead and approve this or not.
Thank you.
Great,
Can we
thank
get
you.
the applicant up here?
Yes. Applicant is coming forward if you gentlemen would let him speak.
May I make one more comment?
Make it really
If-
short.
If we have to turn this into a legal proceedings with the HOA, it's only going to raise our fees for the HOA fees. I mean, this stuff has to be paid for.
Just make sure your attorney goes after the property owner to recoup the legal fees.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rob Norberg. I'm the applicant. So I'm new to the area and for owning the property, and so my idea was to see if I could rezone it and then work within the CC&Rs depending on, then I would look at how I would develop it. So on my basic plan for that campground, I didn't see it as being outside of the CCRs for having like, for whatever term that was allowable up to 3 months, to be able to work within the legal codes of CCRs. I wasn't trying to violate that. I just saw that there was a property right nearby that had been recently rezoned to a commercial property for an RV park. My idea was not to pack in a whole bunch of people and make this a big move around mess. I envision small spread out areas where I could either have a structure or an RV pad that I could use to have some income, to make the property be able to have a community of people that were like-minded, have some water resources, have the septic systems put in for the spots, all within working in the rules. So I've put in a driveway, but I haven't done any other infrastructure or hired engineers or anything because I really did not want to upset my neighbors also. So I was kind of curious how this process went. I thought I would apply and see where it goes, but I certainly don't want to upset all my neighbors. And so I'm also happy to, rescind the application. Obviously, if there are 2 or more people out of the 8 neighbors that aren't happy with this, then I don't want to upset them either.
Well, I think that's very commendable of you. Most people wouldn't do that. So that being said, regardless whether the county thinks it's legal or not, which it is, if we approve this and you are facing a legal battle from the HOA, do you still want to go through with it?
No, I don't want to get in a legal battle whatsoever. Yeah, I was hoping to do this within the scope of the rules, and I'm sorry to have even upset people to have to come down here today if it's something that just nobody wants around them. So, and I tried to put that in my vision. I wanted a quiet area where, people were going to have quiet hours at night, not a lot of in and out of traffic. I didn't see a whole bunch of mess going on. I also would like to live on the property at some point in time. I just can't do this within the next year or 2. And so I thought that would be a way to have some people around me that I could have either like my neighbors reserve RV spots or have a short-term housing that they could use also and contact me. But if they don't want that out there and it's not going to work, then that's fine by me also.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just want to ask, are you then withdrawing your application?
Well, I was very curious because I was under the impression that that one lot that went commercial was in Legend Ranch. So I was assuming that you could then work within the CCRs of that if possible. So,
Well, what you're saying is you were aware of the CC&Rs.
yes, and I thought I would be able to do commercial rezoning and stay within the rules of that. So, yes, I admit I'm a little unknown on how that would work out.
Based on the 36 acres to the, maybe the west? Are you
Yes.
talking about the one on Estrella?
Yes, correct. Are you able to see if that is in Legend Ranch or not? Is that part of the HOA?
I don't know actually how to do that, but
I'm curious if the,
If you don't mind.
if you're answering
That
the,
one is in within the Legend Ranch. It was not, it was, unfortunately, I didn't get a letter for this either. Oh, I'm sorry. It is within Legend Ranch. I didn't get a letter for this one either, and I don't know if any of the neighbors got letters for that one, but there's really nobody living there. So it might be a little different circumstance. And it is on Estrella, which is a nice paved road to get there, which is not as bad, but the thing is, though, the HOA is still concerned about it, and because it's already approved, they'll have to take a different course of action. Judging by what he just said, kind of touched my heart a little bit. I think what we should do, in my opinion, withdraw this, and we should all sit down and have a meeting over this and make this so the community does stay nice. I wouldn't mind having a talk with him. I was just caught off guard. I thought he was coming to just live there on his own camper. I could care less. I like the guy, but, other people coming in makes me concerned.
totally understand, and thank you very much for clarifying. So in an effort of everyone's time, I, for one, our only job is to follow the legal guidelines with the county. I know what my vote's going to be. I would encourage you to take this and talk with them after this, and maybe have a meeting with the HOA and all that outside of this to try to figure out what would work.
Chairman Jacks,
Yes.
if I may make a suggestion, it sounds like there's some progress to be made before this goes forward. If I might make a suggestion of continuing this item for 60 days to allow the applicant and the neighbors to see if there's any resolution that they can come up with.
Is everyone agreeable with that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion for that.
I
Okay.
have a question first. How many acres is this total, all this rezoning cover?
40.1.
How many acres?
40.
40?
And the one on Estrella, I think the one on Estrella is either 40 or 80 acres.
And that area there in the general plan is
That's still in
40
Legend
acres.
Ranch, yes. And Legend Ranch has CCNRs avoiding this.
I guess I have a question for staff. Is that area there 40 acres parcels?
Chairman Jacks, Commissioner Abbott, currently, these properties that they are rezoning are zoned AR 6A, so they have a 6-acre minimum lot size.
Okay, thank you.
In the area, let me pull up a map. There are 36-acre minimum lot size parcels in the area, and there are smaller parcels in the area.
Thank you.
What about the lot in question?
Okay.
Any question here? Okay, Commissioner Gillette, you have a question?
No, I was just going to say thank you very much, gentlemen.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Hassett, I think you have a motion that you're going to bring forth?
I was, sure, yeah. I was just going to make a motion to table this item to the next meeting.
Do I have a second?
Is that how it's supposed to be said?
60 days.
Can
Chairman
we amend
60
that to
days?
60 days?
Absolutely. I make
Chairman
a
Jacks, if I could interrupt, I apologize. The public portion of the item is still open. If you could
Okay.
close that first.
Close that first?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we have other individuals that were wanting to speak on this item, but having said that, can we go ahead and close the item based on what we're
If there
going
are
to do?
other people who have signed up to speak on it, from a legal standpoint, we probably ought to give them the opportunity to speak. If they are willing to not come up and speak, given the current circumstance that the applicant and the other public speakers have proposed, that might speed things along.
Okay, thank you. We have Howard Copps.
Okay, I have written letters from Howard Copps. They told me I still had to fill out a speaking thing, that he was opposed to it also.
He's right there.
Yes.
Okay.
He wanted me just to, he signed a letter. I didn't know he was going to come.
Does he wish to speak?
I'm good with tabling it.
Okay, thank you. Cindy Anderson?
Cindy Anderson also lives across the street. She signed a letter opposing it also.
Okay.
Okay?
Is Cindy available?
No, she could not be here today.
Okay. And Rob Norberg
That's
is you, that's right. Okay, thank you. That concludes everyone. So I think, do we have any others wishing to speak on item 5?
Close it.
I'm going to close it. See if there's any other people wishing to speak on item 5. No. Okay, we're going to close the public hearing. Any commissioners have any questions or comments?
I have a question for staff.
Oh, my gosh.
What type of structure? Stick built or a manufactured home?
We haven't gotten that far yet.
Chairman Jacks, Commissioner Meal, the application was for a campground, so if they are proposing any structures, we would review that at the site plan stage.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're ready for a motion.
I make a motion to
And
table.
I apologize, I'm just trying to streamline things. I apologize for interrupting Chairman Jacks and Commissioner Hassett. I know that there was a proposal, some discussion about tabling it. As the parliamentarian, I would simply suggest that rather than use the word table, the word continue be used.
Whatever makes you happy, I will do that. I would like to make a motion to continue item number 5 for 60 days in an effort to get resolution from the HOA and the property owner.
I second it.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hassett, a second by Commissioner Gillette. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item 6, staff report by Matthew Gunderson.
Item number 6 is an evaluation of a request for a reversion to acreage of Valley View Tract, a re-subdivision of lots 12 and 13, Block C of Golden Sage Ranchos, Unit 54, including Assessors parcel numbers 306, 02, 036, and 037, located in the Golden Valley vicinity. Staff recommends approval of this reversion to acreage.
Okay, thank you. Opening a public hearing. Is the applicant present? Yes, come on down, Kathy.
Good morning, Honorable Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Kathy Tackett-Hicks. I'm representing the owner on this application, and I just wanted to take 2 minutes because it's kind of a different one. So the Valley View Tract was approved as a subdivision in 1964. The current owners would like to split that into 4 lots now. In fact, a parcel plat has already been approved by the county, or a record of survey showing that 4 split. These 10 lots, existing lots, are no longer valid in that area. They're too small. The 4 lots would each be an acre each, and I've also filed an abandonment of Madeline Avenue, which is that cul-de-sac area. So I just wanted to explain further. So I don't think that the abandonment comes before you at all. That goes through Public Works. So that's what we're doing, and I hope that you'll be able to approve it.
Thank you. Any questions for Kathy?
No, thank you.
Right, thank you. I do have one person wishing to speak on it, Neil Grovel.
Yes, do I need to be up there or here?
Need to be up at the podium, and give us your name and address.
Yes, it's Neil Groover, 3855 North Bouse Road. I'm catty-cornered across from where the young lady wants to split it up. And if it's the same area as that most of the people out there have, I'm for that. If it's an acre plus, so that you could have 4 dwellings or 4 houses or 4 whatever, I'm for that. And if I hear her correctly, that's what it sounds like to me that they're wanting to do. Is that correct?
Yes.
I believe that's right. Is that correct, Kathy?
Okay, then I am definitely for it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
We have any others wishing to speak on item 6? Okay, hearing or seeing none, close the public hearing. Does any commissioner have any questions or comments at this time? Hearing or seeing none, Chair will now call for a motion on item 6.
I'll make a motion to approve for staff recommendation.
Got a motion by Commissioner Abbott, got a second by Commissioner Martin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 7, staff reported by Alexander Bola.
Item 7 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of Assessors parcel number 327-04001 from an AR-10A agricultural residential 10-acre minimum lot size zone to an AR-9A agricultural residential 9-acre minimum lot size zone to allow for a minor land division in the Dolan Springs vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Okay, thank you. Opening the public hearing. Is the applicant present? Do you wish to speak on it, sir?
I have nothing to say at the time.
Okay, thank you. Are there any others wishing to speak on item 7? Hearing or seeing none, close the public hearing. Does any commissioner have any questions or comments at this time? Hearing or seeing none, Chair will now call for a motion on item 7.
I make a motion that we approve item 7 per staff recommendations.
Second motion.
A motion by Commissioner Gillette, second by Commissioner Abbott. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to item 8, staff report by Alexander Bowen.
Item 8 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of Assessors Parcel Number 207-35021 from an AR 36A Agricultural Residential 36-acre minimum lot size zone to an AR 8A Agricultural Residential 8-acre minimum lot size zone to bring the property into compliance in the Yucca vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. Opening the public hearing, is the applicant present? Hearing or seeing none, are there any others wishing to speak on item 8? Okay, close the public hearing. Does any commissioner have questions or comments at this time? Hearing or seeing none, chair will call for a motion on item 8.
I'll make a motion to approve item 8 with staff recommendations.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hassett, a second by Commissioner Gillette. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 9, staff report by Matthew Gunderson.
Item number 9 is an evaluation of a request for an amendment to the Ranch at White Hills area plan from a renewable energy land use designation to a commercial recreation land use designation and a rezone from an AR 36A agricultural residential 36-acre minimum lot size zone to a CRE 36A commercial recreation 36-acre minimum lot size zone for Assessors Parcel Number 329-11004 to allow for a glamping site in the White Hills vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Did you say glamping?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Opening the public hearing, is the applicant present? I do have a note here that the applicant is available by phone if we have questions. Are there any others wishing to speak on item 9? Okay, hearing or seeing none, close the public hearing. Does any commissioner have questions or comments at this time? Nope.
The applicant's not on the phone?
I think. Sir, do you have anything you wish to add?
No, sir.
What amenities are being placed on the glamping site?
We would just be having a small convenience store, and all water, solar, and septic will be provided.
Clubhouse and all.
Yeah.
I'm done. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, anybody else wishing to speak on this item, item 9? All right. I'm going to close the public hearing. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments at this time? Chair will call for a motion on item 9.
I make a motion to approve item 9 with staff recommendations.
Second.
Oh.
Got a motion by Commissioner Gillette, a second by Commissioner Martin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I think she's saying aye.
Just a little bit later.
Even though it's coming out, I say opposed.
It's a thumbs up, yeah. I think so too. Okay. Moving on to item 10, staff report by Alexander Boland.
Item 10 is an evaluation of a request for an amendment to the Mojave County General Plan and an amendment to the Dolan Springs Area Plan from a general commercial land use designation to a suburban residential land use designation for a portion of Assessors Parcel Number 326-02087, and a rezone from an AR5A agricultural residential 5-acre minimum lot size zone to a C2 1A general commercial 1-acre minimum lot size zone and an AR agricultural residential zone to allow for a minor land division in the Dolan Springs vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Okay, thank you. Open the public hearing. Is the applicant present? Any comments or at this time? Okay. Are there any others wishing to speak on item 10? Okay, close the public hearing. Oh, yes.
I'm sorry, thank you. Honorable Chairman, Commissioners, I had to think twice because I did speak with someone out front about this item, so I thought I should at least get up before you and explain it again for their edification and clarification. So you saw on that first map, this is one of the few 5-acre parcels out there that aren't split down. And you can see on the map that it's got a split designation with the general plan and the Dolan Springs plan. So whatever he wanted to do, unless he, that left half was always going to be split, he always had to file for a general plan amendment or the Dolan Springs, any way he wanted to go. So in the end, what he decided was, since the west side is mostly residential, those 2 lots on the west side would be residential, and then the lots on the east would be commercial. So I just wanted to provide some background. It is consistent with the surrounding areas. There are some homes across the street from this, so I think it meets with the character of the surrounding area. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. I just wanted to explain it out loud since they were here.
Thank you. Any questions for Kathy? Okay, thank you. Any others wishing to speak on item 10? All right, close the public hearing. Does any commissioner have any questions or comments at this time? Chair will call for a motion on item 10.
I'll make a motion to approve for staff recommendation on item 10.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Abbott, a second by Commissioner Martin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 11, staff report by Melanie Stradling.
This is an evaluation of a request to rename 7 roads in Gin Acres, a subdivision located south of Interstate 40 in Section 29, Township 16.5 North, Range 18 West, historically known as Paiute Drive, Navajo Drive, Butte Drive, Apache Road, Mescalero Road, Hualapai Road, and Mojave Drive in the Yucca vicinity. This item was initially heard at the February 9th, 2022 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. At that meeting, the item was continued to allow for additional input from the property owners in the area and to consider alternative naming options for the roads. The staff did send out letters to the property owners soliciting road name options. We received 2 potential road names from the property owners, and initial road names were generated from staff research as shown in Exhibit B.
This is much better than Tuesday Trail.
Okay, thank you. Opening the public hearing. We do have some individuals wishing to speak on this. Start with Ken Works.
Ken Works, Yucca, Arizona. I live about 6 miles from that location. My concern was that what are the standards for changing names? Lavoy Finnegan, somebody wanted to name a road after Lavoy Finnegan, and there was a lot of pushback on that, and I don't know how it ever came out. But someone wants to honor someone by naming a road after them. I think that's a good cause, a worthy standard for naming roads and to come up with road changes. But from what I understand with that experience, it's causes quite a bit of expense on the part of the county, not to mention man hours and everything else concerned with staffs and maps and phone issues and such things, that it's not something that should be done willy-nilly. When people name roads to begin with, it's usually a developer, and they're doing it to sell real estate, and when people buy the real estate, they obviously honor the name of the street that they're buying the real estate on. I don't think that it should just be changed willy-nilly on a whim. I don't know who's pushing it or why it was pushed to rename these roads, but I'd like to come up with some sort of standards on what's going to cause a road change and how much it's going to cost to change these road names, and it should be kept to a minimum, and I think that we should adopt standards to make sure that it's kept to a minimum. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, have Carol Wilk.
Good morning, Commissioners, and thank you for the opportunity to speak on this. When we were here the last time, we were not clear.
Name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. Carol Wilk, 542 Harvard Court. I also own property that borders this Gem Acres area in Santa Fe Ranch.
Thank you.
I'm not sure what her title is, the address coordinator who spoke on this in the last meeting mentioned that the motivation for changing these names had to do with the 911 system, which I find curious. My background, I was a police officer in a municipality for 31 years, so I'm quite familiar with 911 and responding to 911 calls as a first responder. Also, the 911 systems are sophisticated enough now, if this is the actual motivation for changing the names, but I never heard them cite any law. I believe that the FCC is what governs the 911 system, and they seem to be using that as the reason for why these streets needed to be changed. The 911 system now has been upgraded to handle cellular phones. Back in the day when I first came on, it was a landline situation. That landline brought the address up for 911 callers when the 911 system was instituted. Now we have cell phones. So cell phones ping off of towers. If you have an address, say you're on Mescalero Drive in Yucca, and there's a Mescalero Drive in Lake Havasu City, and you're calling because you have an emergency on Mescalero in Yucca, or Gem Acres, for instance, that pings on a tower that goes into Mojave County. It doesn't go into the 911 system in Lake Havasu City. Okay, so Lake Havasu would never have any conflict with that because it doesn't go to them. Sorry.
You have to finish up.
Okay. In any event, there's a number of different roads throughout the county that have variations. And this particular set of roads have designators for South Mojave Drive, for West Ute. And the way that they don't overlap in other cities or townships. The street addresses are different, the zip codes are different. 911 dispatchers talk to people on the phone, and they can achieve clarification. What this will cause is confusion for first responders for several years to come, because the maps don't show it. The mapping systems like Google and GIS mapping that a lot of first responders use to go to these addresses will not be updated for a considerable amount of time, and it actually puts jeopardy on the people who live there. While, if they need emergency services. The last thing I'd like to say is that this also creates a big problem for the property owners there, who now have to go back and have perhaps wills and living trusts changed, deeds changed, because now they have to include all of this. They have to go to DMV. They have to get all of those things changed. It's a considerable, Social Security even, if they're getting
Thank you, ma'am.
things. So there's a lot to consider, and I hope that the commission will vote against it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak on item 11? Yes, come up. Your name and address, and we do need to stick to the 2 minutes.
Iola Hafner, Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. Regarding the evaluation to rename the 7 roads in Gem Acres, I highly oppose to that, and that would devaluate my property. I purchased this property. I own 12 acres for a future retirement type of basis, and this retirement and investments in these properties mean to me what a 401k means to you. I'm sure that you purchase that for your future retirements and investments. Anyway, there is no reason why Gem Acres Indian name should be transferred or given to Golden Valley, for the proper reason that Golden Valley is growing 3 times as fast as, or faster than Gem Acres. And I feel that the time for assignment of street names should be with the newly developed areas with the developer. and they should have different names if the problem of Indian names are duplicated. So anyway, I have some samples here, like for example, Jim Acres, zip code 86438. It has a prefix and has a suffix, and you have South Mojave Drive, Paiute Drive, West Navajo Drive, West Ute, South Apache Road, South Mescalero Road, South Hualapai Road, and existing Kingman Streets in zip code 86401. You have North Apache Drive, North Apache Street, Hualapai Street, Hualapai Street North, Hualapai Circle, Hualapai Drive. You also have existing streets in Golden Valley Streets 86413. You have Apache Way South, Navajo Road, Navajo Drive, Paiute Road, Ute Road, Hualapai Road, Mojave Road, Mojave.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We appreciate
Okay.
it. Thank you.
And I am also Native American. I'm Apache from the Mescalero tribe and Cherokee. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on item 11? All right, close the public hearing. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if I may just do a little bit additional explanation, if that's okay.
Sure.
We call it a renaming of 7 roads. In reality, it's a naming of 7 roads. These roads that were named back when the parcel plat was approved or was submitted a long time ago never actually got through the approval process and never received these names in the first place. So these roads are actually unnamed roads. And the reason why we're bringing it before you is because we are seeing development come forward for a few of these parcels in the area, and we need to have names on the roads. And to accept the names that are currently there, they're not in line with our process to allow for these names. These, like mentioned with the speaker previously, these names are well overused. And according to our zoning ordinance, they would not qualify for names to be proposed. And so that's why there had to be alternate names presented and approved by the commission and then by the board. And that's what we're bringing forth to you today. From our last meeting, we took the direction of the commission and we sent out additional letters to each of the property owners that live there and received 2 responses. And those responses were given to you as a commission in your packet for 2 additional names. One is Tenant Road and one is Dirt Road, is the 2 submissions that were given by the property owners themselves after we had sent out letters to each of them. What we are currently proposing is back 2 months ago when we presented this the first time, we had presented the names that staff, thank you, that staff, we had everybody in the division submit names, and then there was a random selection of those names, and these were the names that came before you last or 2 commission meetings ago of the days of the week. The current proposal before you is that days of the week with the 2 alternative names that the property owners have submitted. And Tim has placed it up on the screen there for you. So the 2 roads that would be changing, actually I can't see it from here, but Dirt Road from, is it the Saturday Street, and then Monday becomes Tenant. So that's what the commission is currently deciding on. Alternatively, we took the direction from the commission as well that you wanted to come up with some alternative names that were more representative of the area, and staff did some research and also provided a list of those names. If the current names that are before you are not what you'd like to rename the roads to, we did provide a list of alternative names that you can choose from as well. And we're open for any questions that you may have.
Any questions by commissioners?
I have a question.
Commissioner Gillette?
Of staff. So what you're saying is, when this subdivision was originally made, some of the street names got named, and some of them didn't?
No. So what I'm saying is, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Gillette, what I'm saying is, when this was created, we didn't have the subdivision process, and so there was no approval process for the names that were presented, and it never went through any approval process between the county or the Board of Supervisors, so the names that were placed on there never were accepted or approved by the county.
But the county was aware that these streets were there and they were named.
So they were never named. That's just names that, and maybe Melanie can weigh in a little bit more on that.
Sure. Commissioner Jacks, Commissioner Gillette. This particular subdivision plat, if I remember correctly, was recorded in 1961. There was no planning and zoning commission or any kind of review process for any of name proposals at that time. There were plats recorded before that previous addressing coordinators have gone through and reviewed, and many of the names have gone through the review process through subsequent commissions and through the Board of Supervisors. In fact, 3 of the names in Gem Acres have been through the Board of Supervisors approval because they have been continued as alignment roads into the other development areas out in that vicinity. The 7 that we are looking to rename have been utilized in the near vicinity on alignments that don't fall into line with these as they are platted, or are overused in the county in general. So they have never, ever officially been accepted. So when Scott says that it's not a renaming, that is true. It is actually an official naming. The reason they were never officially through the accepted process with the board and the commission is because of the conflict. Because we are starting to see development in that area, we have to handle the naming of them at this point in time, because it was never handled previously.
Okay, I believe when this came before us before, the main reason for doing this had to do with the 911 calls. And I have talked to a couple of people in that business, and you can designate the area. If that is the reason for the name changes, you can designate the area, and once that designation is known by the 911 people, then they know exactly where to go.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Gillette, the main reason for bringing this item is because they're not named. And we did bring it up in the previous meeting that our ordinance has certain requirements based off of the 911 emergency, and these current names do not meet, or the names that were platted back in the 60s do not meet that 911 standard in our zoning ordinance. And that's what was brought up before, but the main reason for bringing this forward is because these roads do not have names.
Well, they obviously do have names because the mail is being delivered, if nothing else.
I think there's only one house there, and I don't believe they...
That vicinity does not actually receive physical mail delivery. They have post office boxes. And for clarification, the mailing city and zip code is in some instances in rural areas different from the vicinity city for emergency response purposes. One is designated by one and one by the other.
Well, I certainly have empathy with these people who have been living on their streets since 1961 with the street name and all their personal belongings, have their addresses on it. And so I feel that it wasn't their fault that their streets didn't get named. It was a faux pas somewhere along the line. I'm wondering, if you left the street names the same, what exactly would happen?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Gillette, just to go over your comment a little bit, currently nobody lives there, except for, I believe there's one individual, and they're the ones that responded with the tenant drive. They're the ones that submitted the name for the tenant drive. But other than that one house, there is nobody that lives on these streets. And that's why we're starting to get some development there. Like some people, some applicants or property owners are submitting to construct and build there, but that's where we're running into the issue. There is no name for these streets, legal name. And so we're looking to make it legal, and we can't go with the names that were presented back in the 60s because they don't meet our zoning ordinance right now.
Question for staff.
Commissioner Martin?
Okay, so can I just clarify on each of these, the properties that are in this area, on their legal description, there is no reference to any of those names?
Commissioner Martin, Chairman Jacks, generally speaking, in a legal description, it gives the legal description of a property has reference to the Salt River Basin Meridian. It doesn't have street names. It's a survey code, if you will, that identifies these things. Where the street names exist is only in the plat that was not, where the street names were not accepted by the county.
So if I pulled up a parcel, say I was going to list the property, if I pulled up the parcel, there would be no reference to the street name.
When you say pull up the parcel, I'm not sure what you mean.
The legal assessor's parcel number?
It should have a legal description that is based off of the survey. So it would say the west half of, the south half of another quarter of some point based on the basin meridian that's set by statute. And so they don't have street names. What they might have, if a subdivision had been created, is it might say lot number whatever in Gem Acres. But they generally don't have a street name.
Okay.
Because street names change. The survey information doesn't change.
Commissioner.
Any other questions?
Excuse
I have
me,
another question.
Commissioner
Chairman
Gillette.
Jacks, Commissioner
Yes.
Martin, just to clarify, so for Gem Acres, each of the lots that were on that plat that was done in the 60s, they're all, for their legal description, they're all given a lot number, so it's Gem Acres and then a lot number.
Commissioner Gillette?
So, none of these people that are here live on the streets that we're renaming?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so we're ready to move forward, closing out the... Ma'am, you need to keep it
Thank
to
you
2
so much
minutes.
for-
Ma'am,
I'm sorry?
ma'am, you need to keep it to 2 minutes.
Key to the two notes?
2 minutes.
Minutes, okay, thank you. We talked about the 9/11 issue, which was the issue last time we had a meeting, and now it's in regards to the recording that it was back April the 3rd of 61. April the 3rd wasn't mentioned, but when you look it up in the website, it says April the 3rd of 61. And when you go to Section 29, Township 16 and a half North, Range 18 West, in the Yucca vicinity, will give you a map, and then it has the names of the streets. The names of the streets already have, instead of Mojave Drive, as it was in the maps before, it has South Mojave Drive, Paiute Drive, West Navajo Drive, West Ute, South Apache Road, South Mescalero Road, South Hualapai Road. Anyway, in regards to this recording of the 61, because it wasn't legal or nobody looked at it or whatever, anyway, how many other streets were named in Kingman or anywhere else? It's going to cost thousands of millions of dollars to rename them. If you're going to do one section because of it wasn't recorded or some of those streets weren't recorded, how many others before 61, have the same problem? You got to treat all of them the same. That's the way that I feel. You can't be partial or bipartial to any or, to just one or anyone. Thank you so much for hearing me.
Okay, thank you. Closing the public hearing. Any commissioners have any questions or comments?
I have a comment. It would seem to me you should say that there's subdivisions being proposed. We need to name the roads that's going to go in this subdivision, period.
I agree.
That was back in 1961.
I know,
Comment?
but this is
Commissioner Martin?
2022.
Basically, we're beating a dead horse, and we really need to address this, and I think that the speakers should come up with some alternate names, because we do have to rename these streets. And either we rename them, whether you like it or not, or you come up with names that you would prefer, because this... Well, we just clarified that your legal description does not have the street name on them. The plat map, which was just done and not processed properly, has the names on it, but your legal description has nothing to do with the street names. We just clarified that. So either we rename them or you rename them. Okay, that would be either another county's problem. We're addressing this county and this situation.
We have to either come to the podium to address this.
Public comment's over.
Or close it out. We can't have audiences going back and
I
forth.
have a suggestion. Can
Okay.
we continue this again for another 60 days? And we come up with names, or they come up with names, and let's just get this done.
They already gave them a chance, so I think we need to just move on with it.
Yeah, remember we got Dirt Road and
Tenant Drive.
I have a question for
Commissioner Mill?
You had mentioned something as to where the current names doesn't meet the county, state, or federal, whoever, that criteria. Could the public know what that criteria is?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Mill, absolutely, it's in our zoning ordinance. We have a whole section on road naming.
Okay.
Seems to me we're kind of getting wrapped around the axle here. I mean, isn't the whole idea here is whether we give approval or not approval to move forward with names?
Chairman Jacks, that's absolutely correct. If I could just hopefully not continue beating a dead horse, but what happened here is we've had some people want to develop these lots. They've come in for addresses. When we've looked at that, we've said we cannot issue addresses based on these names because these names have not been accepted by the county. And these names do not meet county criteria in being able to use these names. So in identifying that, county proposed certain names. The commission directed staff to revisit this, to contact the property owners as has been suggested again today. We sent letters to every property owner in this subdivision, we received 2 names back, and that was Tenant Road, Dirt Road. Therefore, we used those 2 names to replace some of the proposed names that were proposed at the last meeting. So currently before you is a proposal to accept the roads that have been, the names that have been proposed, that were proposed last week, or last meeting, which were the days of the week, with 2 of them being replaced as Tenant Road and Dirt Road. Alternative to that, the commission could use any of the proposed alternative road names to replace any of those days of the week, or if the commission has any names that they'd like to use in place of any of the proposed names. But using the existing names is not an option.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I suggest that we pass this along to the Board of Supervisors and let them make the decision.
Oh, that's going to go over really big.
Chairman Jaggs?
Yes.
And if I could just...
I'll make a motion that we approve for staff recommendation.
I have a motion by Commissioner Abbott for approval. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I think that the motion has to be more than that, because if we remember correctly, the suggestions that they gave were Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or something like that. And we want to make sure that those are not named.
Can we make a motion to approve alternate road?
Chairman Jackson, Commissioner Gillette, if, just for clarification, the proposal that staff has put forward are the days of the week, with the exception of Saturday Street will be removed and replaced with Dirt Road, and Monday Avenue would, in the new proposal, will be Tenant Road.
I think my motion says what the staff wants to do.
But I thought at our last meeting, we all decided that naming the roads by the days of the week was a joke.
Commissioner Gillette and Chairman Jaggs, at the last meeting where this was brought up 2 months ago, the item was continued. Staff made some changes. Those 2 changes were made based on the proposals from residents who live in the vicinity or own property in the vicinity. And this is the new proposal from staff. As Director Walsh has indicated, if the current motion from Commissioner Abbott is to accept these names with those two streets being changed to Tenant and Dirt Road. If that fails, if commissioners would like to propose their own names, those names can be offered up. They'll be vetted by staff before they go in front of the Board of Supervisors, and the information as to whether they meet county ordinance will be given to the Board of Supervisors.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Abbott. Did we have a second by Commissioner Barlow?
No, I'll withdraw that.
Okay. Do I have a second? I have a motion. Do I have a second? No second.
Motion fails.
Mr. Chair, also, we have provided a few additional alternative names. If you'd like to choose from those have been vetted and do meet our standards. Research was done to kind of pick some names that are more fitting for the area. So if the commission chooses to switch out some of the names that have been presented with those alternative names, we could do that in this meeting as well and move it on to the board if you'd like.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Nobody's going to like this. When it reaches the Board of Supervisors, they're really not going to like this. Not blaming you guys, but your predecessors didn't do their job. Okay? These people have, like it was brought up, there's going to be expenses by the owners.
No, they're
You
not.
get the legals all
No, they
changed.
don't use them.
Somebody's going to have to pay for it. Why should they have to do, why should the owners have to pay for something that county failed to do?
Just for clarification purposes, Commissioner Meal and Chairman Jacks, there won't be anything that has to be done to change the legal descriptions on these properties because the street names are not part of the legal description. The only expenses that are being expended here by the county or anyone else with respect to putting names on these streets is the expense in these meetings to put names on the streets. There are no signs that have been posted out there, and the old names that were originally proposed back in the 60s are not part of the legal descriptions.
Okay, let me see if I understand this correctly. You are saying that if and when something ends up in front of the judge, he's going to say everything is okay because it was, or that the legal description is okay because it wasn't okay by the county.
What I'm saying, Commissioner Meal, Chairman Jacks, is that the legal description is not at issue here. The legal description identifies the township, the range, and the references to the Salt River Basin Meridian. Legal description has nothing to do with the street names.
It describes the property.
But not from a legal perspective.
Chairman Jackson, maybe this might help. No addresses with these street names that we're aware of have been issued. So nobody is receiving mail at this location through that address. The legal description for the property would be Jim Acres, amended, lot X. So any legal description deals with the subdivision and what lot it is, or as was described through township, range, lot, block.
Second question is that if you put in one of these zip codes, it'll only show the local, the post office as a zip code, correct?
So currently, no mail is being delivered to these properties with these street addresses.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Could we continue this item and ask the staff to take a look at some of those alternative names that would be more descriptive of the particular area and bring this back to the commission?
Chairman Jacks, those names are provided in the backup. Those alternative road names, if the commission would like to select from them, are listed in the backup. It's Obsidian, Petrified Wood, Azurite, Yucca Flower, Desert Senna, Rose Heath, and Sand Rock.
I think staff has done their job.
Yeah,
I bought property here in the 80s, and it had a legal description. I had a mailing address of HC 32, Box 675. I got the mail. That was later changed to 1603 West Jordan Ranch Road. That all follows up and happens. I don't know how, but it happens.
Mr. Chairman?
And these road names are important.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm very disappointed in the people who live out there that they did not come up with some alternative names, and I think Dirt Road is awful. But if you have names that you have chosen other than those days of the week, can we somehow make sure that that's what is used?
Chairman Jacks and Commissioner Gillette, staff have vetted 7 names, 7 additional names: Obsidian, Petrified Wood, Azurite, Yucca Flower, Desert Senna, Rose Heath, and Sand Rock, which would meet county criteria. If the commission would like to use those names, you can, whoever makes the motion, if that's what's done, can say, I want these ones to be named these vetted names. And that will be part of the motion, and that will be what moves on to the Board of Supervisors.
I think we have a motion.
I'll make a motion to use the alternative names.
Okay, I have a motion that we accept the alternative names. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Moore.
May I clarify something? I'm sorry.
That was loud.
that was loud. My microphone works well. Is that the 7 alternatives, including the 2 that the property owners submitted, or no?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Then I'll second it if it does not include dirt road.
Chairman Jacks and all commissioners, I guess, if that is the motion, I would simply request that you designate which of these you would like to be for which street. And you can reference the old Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday ones if you would like, but that gives the Board of Supervisors direction as to which of these will be applied to which street out there.
Okay, all right. So we need to designate them by street?
If the alternatives, Obsidian, Petrified Wood, Azurite, Yucca Flower, Desert Sienna, Rose Heath, and Sand Rock, which are on page 154 of the agenda book are used, then yeah, they need to be designated to which street.
Okay, can the staff help us formulate that motion?
I can offer a proposal.
Well, I have a question for staff. Are the street names that were brought before us the days of the week still involved
No.
in this? Or are we renaming all the streets so that we eliminate the days of the week?
Based on what Commissioner Barlow has proposed, he has proposed to use, my understanding, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, he has proposed to use the alternative road names that have been vetted by the county staff: Obsidian, Petrified Wood, Azurite, Yucca Flower, Desert Sienna, Rose Heath, and Sand Rock. 7 names, which would correspond to the 7 days of the week that were previously proposed by staff.
Okay.
And if his motion is to propose that those in order, as I read them, be replaced for the 7 days of the week in order of the 7 days of the week on the calendar, that would be a fairly simple motion.
Yes.
And we can take it that way.
So that's the motion that we have from Commissioner Barlow, and we had a second by Commissioner Martin.
Gillette, actually.
Both of you gave, okay, Commissioner Gillette. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Whoa.
Chairman Jacks, can I just confirm that there was no opposition on that? Did everyone, it was a unanimous vote?
It was unanimous.
I
Okay,
believe it
thank
was,
you.
yes.
I just wanted to confirm.
It was unanimous. Okay, so that moves on to item 12, staff report by Bridget Masters.
Before I begin, because items 12 through 16 are all area plan amendments and rescissions, they're comparable to the ones that Mr. Holtree had presented in November of 2021. Similar to the plans that were presented at that time, these area plans have unmet conditions of approval. The ones that were previously presented had a specific date for rescission, whereas these following plans did not have a specific date, only conditions that should have been met. Additionally, the land has not developed as designated in these plans, and without the intended development occurring, placing these land designations on vacant properties adds an additional step to many landowners that may wish to rezone their properties. Some of these plans are developer-driven, that were done during a time of a real estate boom and have still yet to develop even in our current upswing. Other plans are over 30 years in age and have yet to show any progress. I will just read the portion of the resolution that will set it forth and then move on for each unless there's any questions. So item 12 is an evaluation of a request for an amendment to the Hualapai Ranch Area Plan and related Mojave County General Plan, reducing the scope of the properties for the area plan and returning the general plan designation to a rural development area. Staff recommends approval.
Okay, thank you. Opening the public hearing, do we have anybody wishing to speak on item 12? Hearing or seeing none, close the public hearing. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments at this time? Hearing or seeing none, Chair will call for a motion on item 12.
Make a motion, we approve item 12 with standard procedures.
Second the motion.
Got a motion by Commissioner Gillette, a second by Commissioner Abbott. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13.
Item 13 is an evaluation of a request to rescind Board of Supervisor Resolution 90-182 and repeal the La Sanita area plan and revert the related Mojave County general plan to an urban development area. Staff recommends approval.
Okay, thank you. Opening the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on item 13? Hearing or seeing none, close the public hearing. Do any commissioners have questions or comments? Hearing or seeing none, Chair will call for a motion on item 13.
Motion to approve per staff recommendation.
Motion by Commissioner Martin,
Second the motion.
second by Commissioner Abbott. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.
Item 14 is an evaluation of a request to rescind Board of Supervisors Resolution 2003-454 as amended by Board of Supervisor Resolution 2004-537 and repeal the Ranch at White Hills area plan. Staff recommends approval.
Opening the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on item 14? Hearing or seeing none, close the public hearing. Do any commissioners have questions or comments at this time?
I'll make a motion to rescind per staff recommendation.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Abbott, second by Commissioner Neal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 15.
Item 15 is an evaluation of a request to rescind Board of Supervisors Resolution 2003-453 as amended by Board of Supervisors Resolution 2004-536 and revert the Mojave County General Plan land use designations related to the Ranch at White Hills area plan to a rural development area. Staff recommends approval.
Opening the public hearing. We have anyone wishing to speak on item 15? Hearing or seeing none, close the public hearing. Does any commissioner have a question or comment at this time? Hearing or seeing none, calling for a motion on item 15.
I'll make a motion to rescind per staff recommendation.
Got a motion by Commissioner Abbott, second by Commissioner Martin. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item 16.
Item 16 is an evaluation of a request to rescind Board of Supervisors Resolution 92-194 and repeal the Meconico area plan while maintaining the current Mojave County General Plan land use designations. Staff recommends approval.
Opening the public hearing. Anyone wish to speak on item 16? Hearing or seeing none, close the public hearing. Does any commissioner have questions or comments at this time? Hearing or seeing none, Chair will call for a motion on item 16.
Make a motion to rescind item 16 as per staff recommendations.
I'll second that.
Got a motion by Commissioner Gillette, second by Commissioner Barlow. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 17, staff report, Matthew Gunderson.
All right, item number 17 is an evaluation of an amendment to the Mojave County zoning ordinance, section 41 for the Board of Adjustment. Just as a little background on this, the Mojave County, we receive on average between 2 and 3 variance applications per year. So a variance doesn't go to the Planning and Zoning Commission, it goes to a Board of Adjustment instead. But due to the meeting infrequency, some of the current boards of adjustment don't hear any cases for a year or several years, and so we often have to repopulate those boards each time a variance case comes in. And we've seen difficulty in filling those boards. So the current setup is that each supervisor district has their own Board of Adjustment. And so this proposal is to change that to allow for one Board of Adjustment for the entire county, where each supervisor would then assign or, what's the word appoint, there we go, one member to sit on this new board, one single Board of Adjustment. In addition to that change, we have also done a few minor changes to the application process. One example is that we used to require 4 copies of some of the items that they submit. Now we only require 1 copy and a digital copy. And so just kind of streamlining that process and making a few minor changes. Staff recommends approval.
Okay, thank you. Opening the public hearing, anyone wishing to speak on item 17? Hearing or seeing none, close the public hearing. Does any commissioner have questions or comments at this time on item 17? Hearing or seeing none, chair will call for a motion on item 17.
I'll make a motion, we approve item 17 per staff recommendation.
Got a motion by Commissioner Barlow, got a second by Commissioner Meal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 18, annual election of chair and vice chair of the Mojave County Planning and Zoning Commission. Asking for nominations for chair of Mojave County Planning and Zoning Commission.
Do you like being the chair?
Sir?
Do you like being the chair?
I'll do it if you are okay with that.
I'm fine with it.
I will suggest Gillette.
We got Commissioner Gillette and Commissioner Jacks. Let's take a vote on Commissioner Gillette. All those in favor of Commissioner Gillette, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And what do we have? 1, 2. You're gonna have to help me out, Laura.
Okay, let's go back to a roll call vote, if you don't mind, so I can see. For Commissioner Gillette to be chair, Chairperson Jacks? Do you?
Aye.
Commissioner Barlow?
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly? Oh, he's not here. Commissioner Commissioner Meal?
Aye.
Commissioner Martin?
Aye.
Commissioner Abbott?
Aye.
And Commissioner Alexander?
Aye.
Okay, so Vice Chairman Gillette?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now we need a vice chair. Any nominations for vice chair?
I nominate Roger Jacks.
That's a good idea.
Okay, got a nomination. Any other nominations? So we'll vote on vice chair.
Okay. Chairperson Jacks?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Barlow?
Aye.
Commissioner Hassett? Oh, no. Commissioner Meal?
Aye.
Commissioner Martin?
Aye.
Commissioner Abbott?
Aye.
Commissioner Alexander?
Aye.
Commissioner Gillette?
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it.
Okay. Okay, so moving to item 19, monthly reports. They were sent via email yesterday. Everyone should have those. Item 20, commissioner comments, limited to announcements, availability, attendance at conference and seminars, requests for agenda items for future meetings, and requests for reports from staff. Do we have any commissioner comments? Hearing or seeing none. Item 21, call to the public. Do we have anyone wishing to speak? Hearing or seeing none. Request a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
A motion by Commissioner Martin. I'll second that motion. We are adjourned.